Hello, my name is Owen, and welcome to a quick review of Daphne du Maurier's The House on the Strand. What I want to do is give a brief overview of what the book is about, tell you things that I liked, and tell you things that I didn't like. Jumping straight into the overview, so this is about a man named Dick. He is house-sitting a house in the countryside of England for his scientist friend, and he takes a potion which transports him back to the 14th century. Not physically, just mentally. It takes him back to a time following this character named Roger, who lived in the 14th century, and medieval drama ensues, and Dick is able to witness this live and in the flesh. For those of you that don't know, Daphne du Maurier is one of my favorite authors of all time. My Cousin Rachel and Rebecca are two fantastic books, some of my favorite books I've ever read. So I was very, very excited for this one. She's a thriller, suspense, a little bit of horror type writer, and I love time travel. I love the 14th century time period. I thought this was going to be a slam dunk. But was it? Not exactly. Not exactly. Wasn't my favorite du Maurier book, and we'll go into some of the reasons why. But first, what are the strengths? The strength is Daphne du Maurier is a fantastic writer. The atmosphere is there. The writing is there. There are no flaws in the structure of this book. However, I will say I just felt like I was a little bit let down by the plot itself and a little bit let down by the characters as well. One of the things I love about du Maurier's works that I really liked, like Rebecca or My Cousin Rachel, is that the characters feel very well-rounded. They have their flaws, but they have their humanness about them. Our main character, Dick, he's just unlikable for the majority of this book. I think he redeems himself as we advance, but really his defining personality trait for the first half of the book is that he hates his wife. And he hates his wife so much. I cannot emphasize how much this man hates his wife. He always talks about how annoying she is. She never shuts up. God forbid, he lives with his family. He hates his stepsons. He hates his wife. That's his defining characteristic, and he kind of takes this drug as an escape to the past, right? And the book very early on sets up this mystery, right, of how is this potion working? Why is he being teleported mentally to this specific part of the past? And this character, his mysterious scientist friend Magnus, what is his connection to this time period? What is this drug doing? What are the side effects of this kind of drug, right? And I will say the most interesting parts of this book are that kind of mystery, is that kind of psychological aspect of the effects of the drug on our main character, right? Because it is a drug. It's not literally physically teleporting him back in time. It's taking his mind to the past. So when he's walking in the countryside with knights and peasants, he's also in the present day walking down the street with cars going by him and passerbys looking at this strange man who's just staring off into space, which is a very unique type of time travel that I've never read before and not what I was expecting when I just read the back of the book. So it's not quite time travel. It's more like mental hypnosis in a way. And the effects that this slowly has on Dick's brain and the lines begin to get blurred between past and present, that is some of the most fantastic, most engaging parts of this book. Because there's parts where he is more engaged in the past than he is with his present. And that his relationship with his wife kind of plays into that because he doesn't want to be with his family. He doesn't want to go boating with the kids. He prefers to live in the past, literally live in the past and watch these characters and their drama unfold. And then as the book progresses, the line gets blurred, the drug side effects start to come to fruition. It's an addictive substance, so he really... The psychological elements come into full play, especially in the second half of the book. And I do think the book improves when we focus on that. However, almost everything else in this book is just very dry in terms of the way that it plays out. And I would say some of the weakest parts are actually the time travel itself, which is a really disappointing thing to say. The drama in the 14th century, the characters that Dick observes, I just could not give a hoot about who was sleeping with who, which knight disrespected the other knight's honor, what his muse in the past, what she's all about. I found them all mildly unlikable, all these past characters. And quite frankly, it was kind of hard to follow. It was kind of hard to get engaged with why I should care about their drama, their family tiffs, the politics of the world. And I've read history books about this time period, about the kings and the queens and the wars that were going on there. And they kind of touch upon that stuff, but it's really like small town, noble drama. Like I could not get engaged with because I was more interested in Dick in the present and him dealing with the effects of having been transported to the past rather than him actually going to the past. And a significant portion of this book is about the drama of the past. And it's quite frankly just not that engaging and kind of boring. And especially in the first half of the book, before Dick's wife really takes a prominent role in this story, it's just a sad guy who's kind of annoying. And maybe to my credit, or to my discredit, I guess, maybe he's just like a British guy, very dry sense of humor, because I feel like there were some sweet moments when him and his wife were together, but really the first half of the book is him like, oh my God, I hate my annoying wife. Let me take a drug and watch the most boring soap opera of all time. So the first half of this book, I'm like, this is boring, this stinks. But then like I said, the psychological elements come into play, as the present gets more engaging with characters coming into the scene, coming to this countryside home and engaging with him more, it does become very, very interesting. And I think Dick as a character becomes more interesting just playing off of these other characters. But that being said, ending the book, there's this growing mystery of what is the drug, what are the side effects, how is this going to play out, what's the connection, why is it these people in the past? And not to spoil anything, but it's not a satisfying enough conclusion for me. There's satisfying moments, and I think the note that it ends on is satisfying, and it makes sense thematically about what happens. But if you're looking for like the mystery of this time travel to be solved, the mystery of the drug, the mystery of why this time, it's not really a clear answer. There is an answer, but I just personally didn't find it satisfying, and they don't even explore that answer enough. I don't know how to talk about this without literally just giving you the answer of what I'm talking about here. But basically, there's like one reason why he's being teleported this moment in time, and it's just given away in like a paragraph. And it's not explored because it's not really a book about. At that point, it's really just about Dick and his addiction to this time travel thing, which like I said, is interesting. But to build so much suspense about this drug and what it's doing, to have it pay off so quickly, so unsatisfyingly, it really just made me feel like this book was barely worth it. I was going to say not worth it, but that's not entirely true, because the strength of Maurier as an author means that even though it's boring, it is readable. There are classics that are so slow, so painful to get through. It's not like that. It is an easier read. It's just a little dry at points. But the parts that were interesting were very, very interesting, which I really do think saved the book. I've not given up on du Maurier as an author. This is by far my least favorite of the books of hers that I've read. But I am glad I read it. I just find it difficult to just recommend outright, to be quite honest with you. Because I think that she could have done more interesting things with this concept, and it is a unique concept. She explored some things, not enough. She explored some things way too much, I think, especially in terms of, like I was saying, that medieval drama wasn't particularly interesting. But I wish there was like a sequel to this book in which the drug was explored more, or this drug was being found on another continent, they're taking it somewhere else. The premise is interesting to me, but the premise is more interesting than it being explored, I guess, is my final thoughts on the matter. So overall, a bit of a disappointment for a Daphne du Maurier book, but I can't say I was entirely displeased with it. But that's all I got for you. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like the video and you want to see more like it in the future. And as always, thanks for sticking around.